folks, welcome back to My Kitten Reads. I'm Eleanor and this is a quick TBR for the 24-hour reverse readathon this weekend. So the folks who organised Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which I always do twice a year, they decided this year to have a surprise reverse readathon in July, and it's this weekend. The reverse is actually because they're changing the timing. So while the readathons they do usually start at 8 a.m. on the eastern side of America and go to 8 a.m. on the Sunday, which for me is 10 p.m. on Saturday to 10 p.m. on Sunday. So I always take a day off work on Monday so I can recover. This time they're starting at 8 p.m. on Friday night in America and going to 8 p.m. on Saturday night, which for me is so much better because it's 10 a.m. on Saturday to 10 a.m. on Sunday, which means I have the rest of Sunday to recover. So I'm really quite excited. I won't be reading for the whole 24 hours. I'll be sleeping and I am going to the theatre on Saturday night, but we're nearly at the time where the Hugo voting is closing and I am behind on my Hugo reading, so I'm going to use this readathon to hopefully do a whole bunch more of that. So my TBR. A lot of it is digital because Hugo Awards reading is digital, so I have my list. So I still have one of the novellas to read. I've read 5 of them, and so I just need to read one more, and that is The Black Tides of Heaven by J.Y. Yang. I also have 3 more, so half of the novelettes to read. So they are Extracurricular Activities by Yoon-Ha Lee, The Secret Life of Bots by Suzanne Palmer, and Wind Will Rove by Sarah Pinsker. So they're going to be my first priority because then I'll have read all of the short fiction categories. There are 3. So there's short stories, novelettes and novellas, and I usually try and read all of those because they're the easiest to get through. If I get the chance and if I'm in the mood for non-fiction, which I'm not always, I would like to try the best related work category. I'm not going to finish anything in those categories probably, but I would like to at least try the first chapter of each that I can get my hands on that are in the Hugo packet. So what's in the best related work, we have Crash Override, How Gamergate Nearly Destroyed My Life and How We Can Win the Fight Against Online Hate by Zoe Quinn. We have Ian M. Banks, Modern Masters of Science Fiction by Paul Kincaid. A Lit Fuse, The Provocative Life of Harlan Ellison by Nat Segaloff. Luminescent Threads, Connections to Octavia E. Butler, edited by Alexandra Pierce and Mimi Mondale. And 2 more, No Time to Spare, Thinking About What Matters by Ursula K. Le Guin. And Sleeping with Monsters, Readings and Reactions in Science Fiction and Fantasy by Liz Burke. So I might not get to all of them, but I would like to try and at least do first chapters of as many of them as I can. So that's also on the cards. Also, I don't generally read the novels, but I'm paying a bit of attention to best series. So I might at least get started on, hopefully, the Lady Trent memoirs, A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. I've been wanting to read this series for a while, but just have never gotten around to it, and now it's nominated in Best Series. So I'd quite like to try the first novel if I can. But also depending on my mood, one of the other nominees in Best Series is Shauna Maguire with her Encrypted series, which you guys all know that I absolutely love and is a guaranteed easy read for me. So I have the next book in the series that I'm up to, Magic for Nothing. So I will probably read this, to be honest. And also, I don't know if I'll get around to Tricks for Free. I'm not sure if it's available on ebook in Australia, and it's the kind of thing I'm going to want to own. But she's included in the Hugo packet, basically all the short stories that are in this universe. So if I still have time and I want some more Encrypted to read, I can read some of those. And I do have a few things that are sort of lighter weight, that are not Hugo related, for me to read to give myself a break. I'm not doing the Hugo graphic novel category this year because none of them are really piquing my interest. A few of them I've read previous issues, previous volumes, and I've just haven't liked them and the other ones aren't really catching my attention. But I do have some graphic novels that are sitting on my regular TBR that might help. So I could read Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon by Naoki Takeshi Volume 4. I could read The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, I Kissed a Squirrel and I Like It, which is a Volume 4. Or I could read, and it's a Volume 4 kind of thing, Lumberjanes Out of Time. So those are the graphic novels that I may read to give my brain a little bit of a break, and my eyes a little bit of a break from text. And I also always like having some poetry on hand to give myself just a different feel. And I haven't picked this up probably since the last 24-hour readathon, but I have the complete poetry of Maya Angelou, which I'm not very far into, as you can see. But I do like having some poetry on hand. So those are sort of my options. If I get really tired, I'll probably pick up something to reread. Possibly because I am going out to the theatre and it's going to mean bus rides and all that kind of thing, I might start an audiobook. I've just finished a Terry Pratchett one. I am partway through, I think the 4th Harry Potter book. But also I have recently downloaded a version of Pride and Prejudice on audio. I'm a bit nervous about it because I've had some bad experiences. Like the last time I tried to get an audio version, they changed like the timeline of certain minor events and it really irritated me. But so I might listen to that. Or I think I'm quite behind on Tansy Rayner Roberts' Sheep Might Fly fiction podcast. I think I have Kid Dark Against the Machine, one of her novellas in the Cookie Cutter Superhero universe to read. So that also is an audio possibility. But yes, so that is my vague and somewhat malleable TBR for the Dewey's 24-hour reverse readathon in July, Dewey July. I'm quite looking forward to it. Alright, see ya.